complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person.
Yeah, go CNN, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country. And violence is tragic everywhere. And every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. He's right. And young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get problems. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it's a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we
agree with it becomes a lot easier to commit violence.
Reasonable agreement.
He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable
Like and share,
being
people.
able to have reasonable agreement where violence is not an option.
You are inheriting
Now, again,
a country
to
where
my young friends out there,
feels like rape.
you are inheriting
Feels like
a
rape.
country where politics feels like rage.
Through those words, we have
It feels like rage is the only option.
that we can choose
But
Your-
through those words, we have a reminder
to build a culture
that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence.
And that person is now
And there is one person responsible
and will be charged soon.
for what happened here. And that person is now in custody
All of us
and will be charged soon
opportunity right
and will be held accountable.
I want to thank my fellow youth.
And yet all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns.
For 33 hours.
You know, this bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country.
Just because I thought it would make it easier on us.
Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, "Hey, we don't do that here." And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here, and it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence.
People coming together.
There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country, and he said, "I'm not optimistic." He said, "I hate optimism." God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. He said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have. I cannot speak to that.
Well,
Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not. And by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself. There's nothing more that we can share at this time. Yeah,
Oh, there it is.
Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests. Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
We're putting the link up.
Yes, so right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah
Hey.
County Jail.
You see this,
you heard
Stray
the president
Godzilla?
this morning report that that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him
Like and share.
to the into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. For those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part
Thank
of the
you.
state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and
This is
that's where
bad,
he
man.
lived and where he
He's gonna-
they turned him.
He's
in.
gonna be in prison
Please,
for
go
a
here.
long time. He won't get a drop of air.
I can't share any more than what I've already shared. Yeah. Okay. So how we obtained the gun was found here. Yeah. So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to
Like and
the
share
St.
this
George.
video.
It's actually the city of Washington
book?
in Washington County.
Talking with authorities, and did he discuss a motive?
I'm sorry. We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes.
Talking with authorities, and did he discuss a motive?
I can't answer that right now. Yeah, thank you. Over here. I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history. Yes. The question is, what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history, or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this
Stray
country
Godzilla.
of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s. And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets. We are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together. The Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight. Last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be. I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there, but this is our moment. Do we escalate, or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m. Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that
Let me
through
check
some
it out.
process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits? Could
Correct.
you just clarify this?
Yes. So,
Assassination of Charlie Kirk.
so when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes.
Suspect was from Utah. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about where, and was he a student here at the student?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I said before,
I don't have any
got no
information on the
opinion
mental
about
illness
the
part.
view
He
one
was
way or
not
the
a
other.
student here at UVU.
I know he was a nut,
living
yeah.
and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County, in the southernmost part of our state. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So, we would anticipate then that early next week, those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working, the county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made.
Well, the
Thanks, everyone.
conference is over.
All right, officials in Utah wrapping up that press conference. You
Well,
heard the
it's
governor
over.
open it up saying, "We got him," identifying the suspect in the shooting and killing.
Yeah, yeah, it could be there. Yep. Hey, like and share this video there, Straight Godzilla. I'm going to this quick check today, so I'll see y'all. Okay? I'll see y'all, Straight Godzilla, okay? This is nuts. Peace, everybody.